It's called Star Wars 1313.
1313 is this location beneath the surface of Coruscant, and it's where the criminal underworld in the Star Wars galaxy lives.
Fidelity, I mean, it's the whole game's going to feel this ambitious in terms of, detail?
Absolutely. I think, that's what people want to see, this darker, grittier version of Star Wars.
Right.
And that's what we're working to deliver.
The year is... and it is commonly looked back as one of the biggest years in modern gaming history. The year saw a plethora of noteworthy releases such as Halo 2, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Half-Life 2, and of course Treyarch's Spider-Man 2. All of which are still culturally relevant to this day. However, there is one release that would stand above the rest, that would skyrocket into success, ensuring only great things were to come. That game is... Star Wars Battlefront was developed by Pandemic Studios and released on the Xbox, PS2, and PC. The game was a dream come true for Star Wars fans, even bringing in Tamira Morrison to voice the clone troopers in the game.
The Polynesian spy.
Clearly, this dedication to fans paid off as the game went on to sell just under 300,000 copies and earning $2.6 million by August of 2006. The game was also a massive critical success, allowing it to spawn a sequel just the following year. The success didn't end there for LucasArts, as they went on to release the fan-favorite Force Unleashed game in 2008 and an Indiana Jones game titled The Staff of Kings in 2009. The issues at LucasArts began when the 360 and PS3 versions of Staff of Kings were both cancelled. This next-gen version of the game would have made use of not one but two physics engines, allowing for destructible environments at a level never before seen.
Look how no two reactions are ever the same. Euphoria gives you that true next-generation experience.
To make matters worse, the version of the game that did release received less than great reviews. But hey, at least The Force Unleashed 2 was right around the corner.
Where is she?
But there's no variety, and it bears mentioning that the game is shorter than the first, so it feels incomplete.
I'm sorry to say it, but as Master Yoda might say, a good game, The Force Unleashed 2 is not.
I'm actually insulted, and I'm not even a fan of this stupid franchise. If I was, I'd already be measuring myself for the noose.
In case it wasn't already clear, The Force Unleashed 2 was poorly received across the board. The sequel was heavily criticized for its unexceptional story, absurdly short runtime, and repetitive gameplay. Despite being a commercial and critical failure, LucasArts was still considering making a third game on the next generation of consoles. In May of 2012, LucasArts filed the trademark for the title Star Wars 1313. Just 1 month after this, the game was revealed at E3, making a huge impact on the Star Wars community.
It's a long way down. It gets a lot dirtier where we're headed.
The game was to take place between episodes 3 and 4 and focus on a young Boba Fett. However, if you've been paying attention, there's a slight problem with that. This is not Boba Fett. This is Bullseye from Daredevil. According to ex-LucasArts staff, George Lucas came to the developers late into production with a couple of mandates, one of which being the game had to center around a young Boba Fett. The other being that the game also had to tie into the Star Wars Underworld's TV show that Lucas was also working on at the time. In January of 2022, unseen footage of the game would leak, confirming the Boba Fett inclusion. Judging by the state of his armor in the footage, it could be presumed that you would spend the game upgrading it until it closer resembled its look in the original trilogy. Despite almost universal anticipation, the game would be put on hold just under a year after its announcement in March of 2013. Following Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm, the decision was made to cease all internal development at LucasArts. This would mean that 1313, Force Unleashed 3, and any other games in development were effectively cancelled. This includes a Darth Maul-centric game that would directly tie into the very popular Clone Wars TV show. Disney would then strike a $3 billion deal with Electronic Arts, ensuring that they had exclusive rights to make Star Wars games for the next 10 years. To the displeasure of many fans, this would be the final nail in the LucasArts coffin. There would be a saving grace here, being that many of 1313's Uncharted-esque elements would be carried over into the critically acclaimed Jedi Fallen Order game. EA's deal with Disney is set to expire in 2023, meaning that other developers can now make games based on Lucasfilm properties. Bethesda is already working on an untitled Indiana Jones game, while EA and Respawn are set to release the Jedi Fallen Order sequel just early next year. All future releases will also be overseen by the newly re-established Lucasfilm Games. While this is certainly great news, it's still incredibly unlikely that any of the cancelled games, including 1313, will ever see the light of day.